The meeting room on Station Volanto smelled like copper and old paper. Ambassador Thricanol stood before 53 representatives from different species. His 4 arms were folded behind his back. The holographic display behind him showed the symbol of the Greater Trade Consortium. "We have gathered here today," Thricanol began, his voice translator clicking softly, "to discuss a matter of great concern. The humans have been members of the Consortium for only 12 standard cycles. Yet their trading practices have caused more disputes, more emergency arbitration sessions, and more complete market restructuring than any species in our 8,000-year history." A murmur passed through the assembled delegates. The Kelvari representative, a tall being with skin like polished wood, raised one of his branch-like fingers. "Ambassador, are you suggesting we remove humans from the Consortium?" Thricanol shook his head. His species had no equivalent gesture, but he had learned it from the humans themselves. "No, I am suggesting something far more practical. We must study them. We must understand their methods. And we must teach these methods to our own traders, or we will be economically conquered within a generation." The room fell silent. Economically conquered. It was not a phrase anyone had expected to hear. Thricanol activated the display. The first case study appeared on the screen. "Case Study 1, he announced. "The Helium-3 shortage of Cycle 8. The display showed a human female with dark hair and sharp eyes. Her name was Director Sarah Chen, and she had become something of a legend in Consortium circles. The Morvathi had controlled Helium-3 extraction in the Outer Rim for 300 cycles," Thricanol explained. "Their monopoly was complete. Their prices were fixed. Every species paid the same rate, and no one questioned it. This was simply how things were." He gestured, and the display changed to show market graphs. Director Chun arrived at Morvathi Station with a single transport ship. She requested a meeting with the Extraction Council. They granted her 15 minutes, as they did with all new trading partners. She used 3 of those minutes. The Kelvari delegate leaned forward. "What did she say in 3 minutes?" Thricanol pulled up the transcript. "She said this: 'We have developed synthetic Helium-3 production. It will be online in 18 months. I wanted to give you the opportunity to negotiate a fair partnership before your entire economy becomes worthless. The door will be open for the next 12 hours. Gasps echoed through the chamber. "She was bluffing," Thricanol continued. "Human scientists were nowhere close to synthetic Helium-3 production. It would take them another 40 cycles to achieve it. But the Morvathi did not know this. They checked their intelligence networks. They found that humans had indeed been researching the technology. They found budget allocations. They found laboratory construction. What they did not know was that all of this was legitimate research that had produced no results." The display showed the aftermath. The Morvathi had offered Director Chen a partnership agreement within 6 hours. They reduced their prices by 40%. They granted humans exclusive trading rights and 17 star systems. "The humans call this technique a bluff," Thricanol said. "They present information that is technically true, but strategically misleading. They allow their opponents to reach false conclusions through their own reasoning. This is not lying. It is something far more dangerous. It is selective truth." A Grethian delegate, her tentacles writhing with agitation, spoke up. "This is deception. It violates trading ethics." Thricanol nodded slowly. "Does it? The humans made no false statements. They simply did not provide complete context. Our trading codes have no provision against this. I have checked, repeatedly." The room grew uncomfortable. Many species had built their entire economic systems on the assumption that trading partners would provide full information. The humans had found the gap in their armor. "Case Study 2, Thricanol announced. The quantum processor negotiations of Cycle 10. This time, the display showed a human male with graying hair. His name was Marcus Webb, and he represented a human corporation called Stellar Dynamics. The Velith manufactured the finest quantum processors in the known galaxy, Threkanol explained. Their technology was 2 generations ahead of anyone else. Marcus Webb wanted to purchase manufacturing rights. The Velith refused. Their technology was their greatest advantage. They would never sell it. The delegates watched as Threkanol pulled up communication records. Webb did not argue. He did not plead. He simply said, "I understand completely. I respect your decision." And then he left. "That does not sound aggressive," the Calvari delegate observed. "Wait," Threkanol said. 6 months later, Webb returned. But he did not visit the Velith. He visited the Krishan, who manufactured processors that were adequate but unremarkable. He made them an offer. Allow Stellar Dynamics to invest heavily in their research division. Provide human engineers to work alongside Krashen scientists. In exchange, Stellar Dynamics would receive 30% of all future patents. The display showed what happened next. Human engineers had brought innovative approaches. The Krishan had brought deep knowledge of quantum mechanics. Together, they had leaped 2 generations ahead in 8 cycles. The Velith watched their monopoly evaporate, Threkanol said. They had refused to negotiate. So Webb had created competition. He had made their technology worthless by making better technology elsewhere. When they finally approached him to discuss partnership terms, he said, "I respect your decision." And he walked away. The Grethian delegate was trembling now. He destroyed their economy out of spite. No, Threkanol corrected. He demonstrated a principle the humans call never needing the deal more than the other side. Webb had created options for himself. The Velith had assumed their technology was irreplaceable. Webb proved it was not. The lesson is clear. Humans do not simply negotiate for what exists. They negotiate for what could exist. They see possibility where we see fixed reality. Threkanol moved to the 3rd case study. This one made even him uncomfortable. Case Study 3. The Famine Relief Negotiations of Cycle 11. The room grew very quiet. Everyone remembered the famine on Dreth Prime. Crop failures had threatened 3 billion lives. The humans offered aid, Threkanol said. They had agricultural technology that could restore the Dreth fields within 2 growing seasons. They asked nothing in return. This seemed like pure generosity. The Dreth High Council accepted immediately. A Morvathi delegate spoke up. "I remember this. The humans saved millions of lives. What is aggressive about this?" Threkanol changed the display. Look at what happened over the next 5 cycles. The graph showed trade relationships. Before the famine, the Dreth had traded with 47 different species. After the famine, they traded primarily with humans. Human agricultural advisors had remained on Dreth Prime. Human educational programs had trained Dreth farmers. Human culture had become deeply embedded in Dreth society. The humans call this soft power, Threkanol explained. They gave freely. They asked for nothing. And in doing so, they created such overwhelming gratitude that the Dreth became their closest allies. Every trade negotiation between humans and Dreth now begins with the Dreth remembering that humans saved their world. He paused. The Dreth have voted with humans on every major consortium decision since. They have opened their markets completely to human goods. They have provided military support for human territorial disputes. All of this from a gift that was freely given. The Calvary delegate was pale. "You are saying that human generosity is a weapon?" "I am saying that humans understand something we do not," Threkanol replied. "They understand that relationships are more valuable than transactions. They invest in species. They create bonds of obligation and gratitude that last for generations. We trade goods. They trade loyalty." He moved to the final case study. Case Study 4. The most recent incident. The mining rights dispute of Cycle 12. This one was fresh in everyone's memory. The Consortium had offered mining rights to an asteroid belt rich in rare minerals. 7 species had submitted bids. the humans had won. The bidding process was straightforward, Threekanal said. Each species submitted their best offer. The highest bid would win. Simple, clean, fair. He pulled up the bid records. The Krashen bid 40 billion credits. The Morvathi bid 45 billion. The Veloth bid 50 billion. The humans bid 32 billion. Confusion rippled through the room. But the humans won, someone said. Yes, Threekanal confirmed, because their bid included something else. They offered to share all extracted resources with the Consortium at cost. No profit margin. They offered to build refining facilities that any species could use. They offered to train engineers from every member world. Their bid was lower in credits but higher in value. He displayed the committee's decision document. The selection committee had never seen anything like it. The humans had not simply tried to win the contract. They had tried to make everyone better off. They had made refusing their bid feel like a selfish act. The Grethian delegate stood up. This is manipulation. They are using our own values against us. Exactly, Threekanal said. And that is why we must study them. The humans have been trading among themselves for thousands of years. They have developed techniques that we have never imagined. They negotiate not just with words, but with emotions. They understand that every deal is also a relationship. They plan not for the next quarter, but for the next century. He closed the display and faced the assembled delegates. I have compiled these case studies because I believe we face a choice. We can continue to negotiate, as we always have, with simple bids and straightforward offers. Or we can learn from the humans. We can develop our own understanding of psychology and strategy. We can become better. The room was silent for a long moment. Finally, the Morvathi delegate spoke. You want us to become like them? Threekanal shook his head. No, I want us to understand them. There is a difference. The humans have a saying, know your enemy. But they have another saying that I find more relevant. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. He smiled, another gesture he had learned from humans. The humans are not our enemies. They are our teachers, whether they know it or not. And the first lesson they have taught us is this. In trade, as in all things, the species that understands the other best will always have the advantage. The meeting ended 3 hours later. Every delegate left with a copy of the archive. Within a cycle, the Trade Consortium had established its first formal study program in human negotiation tactics. And somewhere, in a small office on Earth, Sarah Chen received a message informing her that she had been selected as a case study for alien trade education. She read it twice. Then she smiled. Perfect, she said. Now they will think they understand us. She deleted the message and went back to work. The next negotiation was already being planned. And this time, the aliens would think they knew what was coming. They would be wrong. They were always wrong.